This is getting a bit crazy. I woke up, it's normal so far, so good. But another God candle doesn't stop so far. We're sitting at $76,000. This is pretty extraordinary what's happening right now. A lot of people were waiting for 40K or whatever, somewhere in that range, and it completely went the other way. And like I said so far, welcome. I mean, day 51 of the bull market. We have been following the previous bull market so far, like pretty precise. Now, I'm amazed by how this is, picking up like that. And if we keep on doing this, then we will top somewhere in May 2029 with a price of $538,000. Now, is that something that I feel like will happen? I don't think that that's necessarily going to happen. However, the fact that we are doing it perfectly so far is pretty surprising, actually. And it shows that the bears lost all the control. If we look at 2021 or 2017 or 2013, the bear cycles of these cycles, we're going the complete different direction right now. Diminishing returns and diminishing losses are a thing, but they form at bottoms. And mid-cycle, at this point, every cycle was sitting down with minus 70, 72%. We're now down with percent. So the decorrelation is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I want to go over a little bit like how high can this go and what would be actually the first, real stop. Because it went a little bit above my expectation. I shorted Bitcoin at around $73,000. So that short is now in the loss. But like I said, my spot bags are making up for that more than enough. So I'm fucking fine with this, right? But however, it's getting a little creepy. Now, why is this happening in the first place? It's because stealth QE is basically beginning, right? They're buying back a lot more, double than what they were doing. And that adds a lot of liquidity to the market. This just goes until November, but analysts are kind of predicting that this could last for, about 6 to 8 months or so. So it is already somewhat priced in that the good news will be better. So there is a good chance that it will be eventually a headwind if it doesn't play out the way they predict for now. But on the other hand, then the market responds to something like that, like instantly. Now, what is really interesting, the speed and the power of this breakout is not a joke. It's up with 21% in a week, right? Name one moment in the bear market before that where we had a candle of 21% to the upside. Here in 2018, we had 19%. That was pretty much the best we got. When the last time was we got a candle like that? Here, right after the bottom in January 2023. Now, what's interesting is if you take this pattern until wherever the hell, and you overlay with what we have right now, you cannot really deny that this is pretty much a copy. And again, what happened after that is, of course, completely nuts. Now, I'm not saying or suggesting or implying that we're going to follow this exactly. But like I said, this is not a regular bear market. And every day I'm seeing more and more proof of that. We were not even close this cycle. And the higher it goes, the harder it will get for the bears to eventually get what they want. And I think, to be honest, that they're not going to get what they want. Because I think that too many investors and analysts and content creators were so focused on this is what happened last cycle, so it will happen this cycle. Yeah, and that was, like I said, I think that that's not the right way to look at it. And we saw it from February when the bottom indicators flashed. Like, eventually we did go 3% lower. 3, right? That's fine. But also, since these indicators flashed, we first went up 37%. And that's a pump that you can pretty easily, catch when you pay a little bit of attention. The Bitcoin heat meter was flashing right here and it was flashing right here. And the way that this has been playing out is like nothing else than picture perfect. Now, Ethereum is participating in this whole move as well. As you can see, Ethereum is now sitting at a risk level of 30% on the Ethereum heat meter. After it got to a level of like 13%. And the average bottom is 18.9. So at 13, there's not a better moment to say to yourself like, well, if this is below average, then you just want to DCA. And that worked out perfect. So how high can this pump go? What's a real expectation? And is it wise to now say like, okay, bull market or bear market plans are now canceled and let's just, get in? I don't think you should be too impulsive with this. Control your emotions a little bit because I know what this type of stuff awakens. And I think that eventually you're going to be the exit liquidity for somebody who is a little bit more rational. So let's try to see what's likely. And for the first time since this indicator has been created, it is now above 21. I've put this whole indicator basket together, right? That looks at the best bottom indicators, the best top indicators. It filters it out based on accuracy. Then there's a new round with redundancy, and it keeps the 5 indicators that are just simply the best. And it is now sitting at a valuation of 21. Again, that's now finally above 20. We went to as low as, it filtered it out here because it's smoothed, but it went as low as 7 or 8, something like 9, 8 or 9. Yeah, and below 20, if you look back in history, there was a great time to DCA. Below 20 was a great time to DCA here during COVID real quick, and here during this bear market bottom. And this one, it turned out to be nothing different. And I think, again, that betting on the fact that this time was different, it's just not really that wise, because the indicators kind of predicted that the move itself was going to happen, not the size of the move, of course. But it turns out that there's more than calendar, right? And therefore, I would say there's the Alpha Factory. There's a link down below. You could have, used these tools for this, and that's just really helpful, man, honestly. Now, how high can we go? Because this candle looks a little spooky, doesn't it? Like, I'm usually quite allergic to big ass green candles that come out of nowhere, because it often gets followed by decent corrections. However, that's only dangerous if you FOMO buy at the top of this green candle, right? So just don't do that, okay? However, also, again, the only time where this was pretty similar was here, and it didn't really get followed by red candles. We never saw these prices again. And I honestly think that there's now more than ever, a real high chance that we leave this whole 50K zone behind us. It's, of course, not set in stone, but I think that if you're still calling this a dead cat bounce, that you're trying to kind of convince yourself like, oh, this better be a dead cat bounce. I don't know. Okay, maybe, but that doesn't really look that likely to me. Now, where we can go, look, I mean, if you take the Fibonacci, very simple, from the last high to the low, right? You can see that it broke right through the 2.36, right to the 3.382. The golden pocket of 0.5 and the 618, and it's now at the 786 pretty much. 786 comes in at slightly higher of $77,500. Yeah, look, that would be the level that I would say like, okay, here we will find some resistance. Then again, Bitcoin is currently in a state where it's like, I don't really give a crap about resistance at all. So, but if I have to choose a level, then that would be kind of it. And there is more to it than that, right? Like, we have this whole, correction that we had in March 2025 before we made new highs, where Bitcoin bounced. And it would often, it's logical, right? That if you have a certain, support point and you break below it, that the first test is resistance. We had it, around here in the first pump of this year. And there's a good chance that we have it right now. There is also definitely a good chance that we break above it, as this is now it's not our first attempt. And to be honest, the 1.618 is not impossible. That's 98K. I do think that if we are that's still far from here, right? Like, I don't think that this is going to happen anytime soon. But then again, if we can get 20% in 3 days, I mean, from this point, that is 28%, give it a week, right? At this pace. But I think that that's eventually a level where you have to be a little careful. We do spend a lot of time there, though, right? Bitcoin is now sitting at a risk level of 25%. And the level where we spend most time is the 40% risk level. And the 40% risk level comes in at around $102,000, right? So between 35 and 40, that's where we spend a total of 11% of the time, right? That's more than this whole lower risk zone that we just came out of for months. Yeah, and that's right around that 90, 100K level. So keep in mind that that will be our next boring zone, right? Like, you see where we are right now, we relatively don't spend a bunch of time right here. So that's something that I would, for the mid-long term, keep your eyes on. Not as a new high or anything. That will be obviously further than that. But, mid-term-ish, right? Now, if we take a look at the slightly bigger picture, and we take it just from the top to the bottom, then you can see that the whole golden pocket is coming in at that point as well. And golden pocket is that's a point where you often find the most support and resistance depending on which direction it's taking, right? Yeah, the 382 on this FIP is coming in at 84K. I'm not betting on it, but I would not be surprised, right? Let it run, let it do its thing. Bitcoin was heavily oversold, right? So it's not that weird, though, that we see a move like this, right? And what do I mean with heavily oversold? Well, if you take a look at the bi-weekly RSI, it was just as oversold as the 2022 bear market lows and the 2015 bear market lows, right? And yeah, again, you see what happened after that. Here we got that huge pump that we are seeing right now, which we are pretty much seeing a copy from. And here, yeah, you went into a gigantic bull market, and also the 2018 bottom, right? Like where we went into. So, you know, it came from the exact same level. It's coming as a surprise, but I mentioned earlier that there will be a point, we have some good news, whatever the news is, and before you know, it just completely turns around. And this looks to be so far like a pretty good turnaround point. I mean, if you look at the beer and wheat index, right, fear and greed, whatever, this did a 180 faster than Bitcoin itself. A couple days ago, we were sitting at like 29-ish, right? Like people were scared. And now people are getting freaking wasted. People are like, whoa, these candles exist mostly because people are FOMOing in, right? Don't be the FOMOer, be the FOMO receiver or whatever we call it. Another good way of, you know, trying to predict where it might go is the USDT dominance, right? USDT dominance is going down pretty hard. You can also look at the USDT and USDC dominance, maybe even better. However, if we look at the USDT dominance, you can see that, you know, the bigger support comes in here at 6.5%, give or take. We're now sitting at 7.1. Right, this is more of an oscillating chart, so this gives a little bit direction, and this is down another 10%-ish, right? Now, this week we went down 16%. So if you look at 10%, right, if Bitcoin goes up 22%, whenever the USDT dominance goes down with 16%, then if it goes up 10%, or down 10%, then you can say like, well, the Bitcoin can go up with 15-ish% or so. 15% would put us around $87,000, $88,000, right? It's just double confirmation that you want to look for. And then you want to see like, is there anything close to that area that makes sense? Right now, of course, at a certain point, it takes more USDT to move the Bitcoin price. So we can deduct a little bit from that. And then that whole, you know, $84,000 level doesn't seem that crazy actually. Yeah, and if we look at the USDT and USDC dominance, like it is breaking below the 382. Don't cheer too soon. It happened here as well. Wasn't sustainable. But this move looks pretty convincing so far. So to be honest, I think my short is getting wrecked, but it's just $1,000 anyway. I don't. It's fine, right? It's just a small hedge if it ever goes down. But my spot backs again are doing fine, so I'm okay with it. And yeah, then it's a matter of like, where do you want to position yourself if you haven't already? What to do now? Again, I hope you have been following the channel because that made hopefully you able to get in a little closer to the bottom that we had. If you are more about cycles, right? And I don't know what, and you are a little bit more sidelined, I would not really recommend FOMOing in at this point. Actually, I would just say like, let it ride. There will be a correction at some point. However, the problem with these things is that, yeah, from what point and to what point, right? Like if we first go to 84K and then we have a correction to 80K, yeah, then it's still better to get in right now. Yeah, and that's hard. So try to look at the bigger picture. Like, are you in for the long term? In that case, buying here is not the optimal level. Then again, buying here also wasn't the optimal level, but you still did fine. The problem is that if you are now FOMOing in and it goes down, then you're probably also someone who is more likely to panic sell that correction again. And it's important that you keep your emotions in check during times like this, especially again, since I think it's now even safer to say than ever, but since the 4-year cycle, like I said, didn't play out for crap, and that maybe a lot of people don't really feel like they have a direction, like what should I hold on to then if that's not it? Well, welcome to the channel. I sincerely advise you to stick around for a while and to play this the way we should play this. Now, Ethereum, again, it's also participating in it. And with Ethereum, it was a little easier. It already broke out of the downtrend. The RSI was already very oversold, and Ethereum against its Bitcoin pair was breaking out. The Ethereum dominance was sitting low. So we could have seen Ethereum coming a little bit better than we did with Bitcoin, of course. But how high can Ethereum, take this move? Yeah, I honestly think that if it's now now breaking the 2.36. Yeah, the 382. If it keeps up like this, then that's the next level, $2,800. So either Bitcoin has to go up a lot further, or Ethereum on its Bitcoin pair has to break out. And that's looking like it is more like taking a rest for the last, well, couple hours. So anything could happen. But Ethereum on its Bitcoin pair looks a little less bullish. So Ethereum was the leader. Now it looks like Bitcoin is kind of taking over all of this. And then there's one thing that hasn't participated yet. It just goes with it, right? And these are the altcoins. Right now, the altcoin market is not moving against its Bitcoin pair. It's going up a little bit. It's going down a little bit. This thing is basically going sideways forever. So this is just doing whatever Bitcoin does, right? And if you look at these alts individually, you have FAT right here. I bought a little bit of Tau, right? Because I sold my Ethereum and I bought Tau for it. Yeah, and if you look at that, then, well, yeah, it's up a little bit. Not a big difference, actually. But these alts are just going with it. Like Chainlink is doing freaking amazing right now. It's classified as one of the most boring coins out there. But again, sometimes you want to have boring goals. And in that case, boring coins are completely fine. Near is really catching up right now. So the altcoin market is definitely not getting behind all of this, right? If you look at Near, for example, from the recent low in the last couple of days, yeah, it is now up with 24%, right? It's nothing really different than what Bitcoin did as well, right? It's also up with around that same amount, 23%, right? So overall, at this point, yeah, you're taking more risk in the altcoin market for pretty much the same return in the short term. However, again, if you look at the altcoin market on its Bitcoin pair, then to me, it's pretty obvious that this is the place where I want to be, because yeah, it's sitting at the lower side of this parallel channel. In the bear market, they didn't even go down this time. They went up. So they already showed that they had some strength. And now Bitcoin is just gaining against the dollar. And that gets attraction for people. And I can imagine that people now feel like, okay, fuck my alts. Let me get into Bitcoin. And that would be a capitulation maybe on the alt Bitcoin pair, which we kind of need always in order to get a pump / alt season / whatever we call it, right? Here, alts on the Bitcoin pair were also going up. And from this point in October 2020, Bitcoin started to go up really hard. People were like, okay, screw my alts, let's get into Bitcoin. They went all the way down. When they were really oversold, that's when they were able to run really hard, right? And I think that this time is going to be nothing different than that, actually. But be a little bit safe. Don't go into the shit coins, I would say. That's maybe a little bit too optimistic for now. And alts on the Ethereum pair, yeah, still going down, although it has a small bounce in the last day. So, you know, the market, it's overall, everything is just kind of going up right now. And at the moment, it doesn't really matter what you are in. Just don't FOMO buy into stuff. And again, if you want to see what I'm doing, what I'm trading, what I'm shorting, what I'm longing, what I'm selling, buying, the Alpha Factory, there's a link down below. You know, the tools that I've showed you, they're there. They help me not losing any money in the so-called bear market and identifying actually the fact that this wasn't even a regular bear market, right? Again, there may be people that still call it like that. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen this yet in crypto. And again, overlaid with the previous bull market, this is fucking nuts. You cannot make this up. So check out the Alpha Factory. It's a great platform. Most of it is free anyway. This is going to be really helpful to you, right? And as cherry on top to wrap it up with, the Altcoin Rules is a page that is really useful for identifying whether your altcoins are overbought or oversold, right? For Chainlink, for example, you can see how the risk level was sitting at 20. Yeah, and that's historically, if you bought that here, you did great, right? If you bought here, was close to 20, was 22 or so, you did fantastic. And this is made out of a bunch of different indicators that have a flawless track record, right? So we put it all together in one composite score, and say whatever you want, they nailed it again perfectly. So I hope you're going to nail it too. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Is it going to correct really hard? Is it going to go up forever? We'll see. Curious what your thoughts are. Stay safe. Enjoy. Until next time.